I feel like I would feel so much better if I wasn't hungover. But, you know.
I think it kicks it up a notch, being hungover on camera.
Yeah.
This week on The Real Thing, we'll have a look at Joss Whedon's new meta masterpiece, Cabin in the Woods.
I will be reviewing Wes Anderson's indie-inflected Moonrise Kingdom.
Whilst I introduce you guys to Electric Children, a film which none of you will know about, but one that definitely deserves your attention.
What the hell was that? It's the cellar door.
Cabin in the Woods may, to the casual viewer, have seemed to be offering a pedestrian horror film. The concept is simple. 5 friends visit the eponymous cabin getaway only to find themselves preyed upon by a host of supernatural apparitions. Beneath the surface, though, the film was able to deconstruct horror clichés, breathing new life into the genre in the process. It's Joss Whedon's fingerprints that allow this entry to transcend the confines of conventions.
We'll go room by room, barricade every window and door. We gotta play it safe. No matter what happens, we have to stay together.
I was blown away by it, and I introduced it to my boyfriend, who has never watched any Whedon and just thinks Buffy is a bit weird, really. So he
Sacrilege.
But you get in the opening sequence.
Yeah.
Is an aspect of the film that's not mentioned in the trailer at all. So already there was half the audience going, I don't know if I like this, because it doesn't fit into what I was expecting.
Yeah. There's almost like a completely different film going on.
The sex scene which is brilliant.
Yeah.
I can't remember the actors' names, the two.
Bradley Whitford and Richard Jenkins.
And they're controlling the environment.
I mean, they're almost like the audience in the film, aren't they?
Yeah.
I felt that the comedy aspect kind of overrode the horror in a way.
That almost lends it another sense of unease, because on one level, it's something that you can laugh at, but then when you think about it, you're laughing at something that is inherently perverse.
Especially old slasher films, where you find yourself laughing at them, whether it's because of the sloppy gore of it, but there is comedy in old horror films, and Whedon brought it back with a new intelligence.
Right, okay, I think that rounds it up really well, actually.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. So that's Cabin in the Woods then, currently on sale for £13 at your local HMV. Now, we love films here at The Real Thing. They can make us laugh, think, feel, cry. It's a shame then that the next section of the show completely puts all that to pot in favour of getting you, the viewer, drunk. Let's Play Bargain Binged. That was a really weird stress pattern for Let's Play Bargain Binge.
Yeah. Let's play Bargain Binge.
Let's Play Bargain Binge.
Bargain bin.
Friday the 13th is only one of the films that Cabin in the Woods took its inspiration from, but it's the perfect film for this feature. With an eclectic mix of dire 80s fashion faux pas, full-on gore and hammy acting, it screams to be enjoyed whilst drunk.
Obviously you guys haven't seen it in a while, so I can describe how hilariously bad it is to you, in case you forgot. You can't forget.
What, Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
It was ridiculously bad.
It's so bad. Drink every time the theme tune plays. That theme tune, iconic, right? Like that, you know.
It plays through my head every time I walk down into there. So,
Really?
in the dark. Yeah.
Are you sure that it's playing in your head and not actually happening? Okay, so rule number 2, drink every time Crazy Ralph comes on screen. You know Crazy Ralph?
I'm aware of Crazy Ralph, yeah.
Oh, he's the stereotypical foreboding character when he comes on screen and it's kind of like, you're all going to die. It's genius.
Got a death curse.
Okay, and we were also going to do drink every time someone wanders off screen.
Indeed. It's just drinking to celebrate the stupidity of victims in a horror film, really.
Exactly.
Can I help you? Hello?
And obviously down your drink every time someone dies on screen, obvious one. Tons of gore in that film. And also down your drink if you jump at the surprise ending.
Try and guess it, because it'll make you paranoid, and then you'll jump even more. Or will you?
Who are you talking to?
I have no idea.
You know, you're beautiful when you're angry, sweetheart.
Now, after that shameful display, let's inject some class into these proceedings.
We're getting that into the show.
These are my books. I like stories with magic powers in them, either in kingdoms on Earth or on foreign planets.
Wes Anderson is a name which divides film viewers. Some adore his highly stylized explorations of emotional detachment and dysfunction, whilst others find his attention to detail and character development just a bit too transparently clever. His latest release, now available on DVD, possesses the potential to calm the Anderson cynics whilst still proving to be more than pleasing to his fans. Moonrise Kingdom, set in 1965 New England, is actually Anderson's first period piece, and he uses this playground well. Within it, he depicts the budding of first love between two young outcasts who elope to a seaside fort, while surrounding this central love affair with the cast of stars, including Bill Murray, Ed Norton, and Frances McDormand, as the community trying to bring the children back home.
But the ritual does carry a very important moral weight within yourselves. You can't enter into this lightly. Look into my eyes.
Should I move my arm?
If you think you should.
Do you think I should move my arm to myself?
Moonrise Kingdom's fresh in your mind, you can start it.
You got Bruce Willis, Frances McDormand. She's always brilliant.
Yes, you're missing someone out.
Ed Norton.
Ed Norton!
Yes, Ed Norton. Ed Norton. Who really stuck out for me is Jason Schwartzman.
Oh.
I was waiting for him to say it.
To bring back in Ed Norton as well, he fits so well into that quirky kind of community, and if I dare pun it, kingdom that the Anderson films have.
Get out.
What about you, Lewis? What do you think?
Good. Ed Norton.
That's good.
Symmetrical, very beautifully placed framing that he does almost symbolises kind of the world that the children live in. It's a very organised world that the parents have kind of created for them.
Thematic viewing of each room, it almost feels like a doll's house.
I've not seen much of Wes Anderson stuff before, but I loved how it went from, it just got more and more absurd and more kind of like a fairy tale.
Were you followed? I doubt it.
But now I move on to a film that you definitely won't have heard of, as I review Electric Children, out now on DVD.
Regulation requires the oral documentation of all ecclesiastical interviews from the ages of 15 and up.
Is it new?
Rebecca Thomas's debut Electric Children is an indie-spirited fable that tells the story of Rachel, a young girl who lives in a fundamentalist Mormon community whom, upon discovering rock music, finds herself pregnant without knowledge of how or why. She considers it an immaculate conception, whilst her ostensibly devout parents find the story harder to believe. The pleasure of the story lies not in the mystery of how this happened, but rather its exploration of faith, youth, and cultural alienation. It's a joy to see a piece of work that deals with the concept of religious outsiders with compassion and maturity, highlighting their differences but never cynically dismissing their faith. It's this kind of humanist filmmaking that should be cherished.
I'm still unsure of Rebecca Garner's age. She's playing a 15-year-old, but I think she must
be older than that.
And
we hope so,
we really hope so, because otherwise we're weird. I was just going to say, I think that the role that parents play in the film is quite an interesting thing. That's one of the things that we said as soon as it comes out of the cinema.
She never really questions her faith.
She never questions her faith, but her parents, who are meant to be the ones who are running this fundamentalist Mormon cult, you know, and they're the ones who seem to have a problem believing, you know, which I think is interesting. Do you think that the style that Rebecca Thomas kind of films in is needlessly indie-ish? I mean, it's quite interesting because she almost oscillates between two styles. You've got this kind of very fabulous, quiet, almost foreboding tone at the beginning, you know. But you've also got these kind of airy-fairy, quite cotton candy inflections in the Las Vegas bits as well. And I'm not sure if that sits entirely comfortably.
But there is this fashion now going into. It just seems. They do go. There is a look now.
The two kind of communities that are observed in Electric Children, they work well. They may not blend easily, but I think that's part of the fun of it.
I mean, did you think when you saw Series of Unfortunate Events for the first time that one day you would be watching Klaus get high and talking about Chinese people?
Japanese.
Japanese.
It's not one and the same. No.
You are right. You are right. I'm under no pretense that they are one and the same.
Guys, you need to get up, leave.
I think that might be a good one.
No, it's absolute bullshit. You've had a good talk, but you need to fuck off now. Like, just go.
What? Oh, producer.
Oh no. Okay.
I haven't got time. I've been here for fucking 5 hours.
Did you get out of his mouth? It almost sounded like a Freudian slip, like it